Welcome back, I should say, to the new and improved Movies by the Letter podcast.
The secret's out. We're white.
Yep.
Couldn't
now
tell.
You get to see what
Surprise!
you get a peek behind the camera. What it really look like.
Yeah. Very surprising.
Because you know, in case you couldn't, now you see our first and last names.
I know.
So
very shocking.
You could easily
I might have to change that in post. I'm not trying to.
Oh, I'll be changing a lot. Knowing you two fools, I'm gonna have to be editing a lot in post.
Yeah, Nick's dropping slurs left and right over there.
So
what slurs have I dropped?
This is how we're gonna be.
We'll see. We'll see.
In these unprecedented times, force us to adapt. And honestly, this is probably going to be a better quality podcast.
This is probably going to be our best quality.
This is going to be the greatest podcast.
Because now you get to see I'm going to be giving angry scowls to my co-hosts.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be giving secret messages to Nick.
I'm going to be throwing visual gags in there.
QAnon.
Nick's got propaganda. I don't know if the camera will pick that up.
Vote.
Yeah. I don't know if he'll pick it up.
Listen, it doesn't say who to vote for, all right? It doesn't say who.
Saying to vote is propaganda.
Maybe to a lip talk cock like you.
R. The letter today is R, as you would have known from if you were looking at the video you clicked on. Or the podcast.
Or the podcast.
For audio listeners, you don't get to see our face.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. So, I got to dust off the cobwebs.
I know, I'm trying to get some chemistry going. I'm trying to get Nick fired up about politics.
We're not talking politics. I don't like politics in my films.
Red pill this, red pill that.
I've never seen a film with politics in it that I've liked, frankly.
Oh, I just touched my glasses against the microphone. You think that's going to sound bad?
No, it's fine.
I just tucked my dick. Am I going to hell?
Hey, there he's already out. Out on some tangents.
Listen, we're all going to hell. Might as well make it fun while we're not there.
Enough. Anyways, R as in...
R, I think we're going to talk... I don't know about you guys, but we should preface this by saying that the next couple episodes or so are all horror themes since we're in October. What?
I think we failed at the horror. We all picked movies that are technically in the horror genre.
Spooky films.
I would say all three of what we picked this episode are like barely horror movies.
Oh, I'm going to disagree with you there.
Barely.
I'd say yours is the least horror.
I would agree.
Easily. Yeah. So you really dropped the ball there. I think mine and Nick's.
I think Roar is pretty far away from horror as well.
Oh, I was thinking K. Oops. I know I picked a horror. That doesn't matter. So, the film I chose is. Now here's what you're gonna be like when I say this. You're gonna be like, wait a second. Isn't that a video game?
Oh, okay.
This isn't a video game podcast.
It's Roar the game.
But no, Resident Evil. Resident Evil the film.
I have not played the game, so...
They're great games.
I have.
Does this movie adhere to what the original game is?
We'll get into that.
Okay.
Resident Evil the film by one Paul W.S. Anderson.
The famous Paul Anderson.
We already made this... Me and Nick already made this joke.
The legendary director Paul Anderson.
Anderson.
Don't ask what his middle name is.
What? What is the joke you're making?
PTA.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I said don't ask. It's Paul
Anderson.
Oh, well,
me and Nick made a Wes Anderson joke earlier.
Yeah.
What I'm saying makes way more sense.
All right. Resident Evil. Resident Evil, the film. Here, let me paint a picture for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I got a death grip on this microphone.
There's a lab.
The Hive.
The Hive. Things go horribly awry. And AI takes over. I don't want to call them zombies. They're infected people are
The
released.
T virus.
The T, the T, not the C
I
virus.
drink your T virus.
The T virus is released, and these creatures begin to wreak havoc on this laboratory, and it's up to one Mila Jovovich to end the zombies.
But what
Who's
about
that
all the other
Latino girl?
characters?
Yeah, who's that Latino girl who's in
Something
the Fast and
Rodriguez.
Furious movie?
Michelle
I hate
Rodriguez.
I don't know.
You
I
hate
hate
her?
She's the same. She just makes a grumpy face in every movie, and she's like, "Oh, that's the badass woman."
You
At
heard it here
least she
first.
emotes.
Carter hates women. You heard it here first. Okay.
She's the same
I guess we
thing
can
as-
get into plot stuff later.
Wait, are we gonna say if we
We're
like?
going. I was gonna say, what did you guys think of Resident Evil?
Nick,
Jesus
go.
Christ, what a disaster. Oh my god.
Carter?
I was going into this movie with low expectations, but jeez.
Yeah, it's a goddamn mess. It's so bad.
Oh my,
It's so bad.
It's a bad movie.
It's really bad.
why did you do this to
I
us?
don't
But I'd be
even know-
lying if I said I didn't have a little bit of fun watching it.
I died laughing. I want to say this could be like it's so bad it's good.
I had some
Because
fun
holy
watching this.
shit.
I didn't
I
really
died
have fun
laughing.
watching it.
I had fun watching this one.
I
I'm gonna
just
be
thought
honest.
it was just very boring.
And you guys are lying if watching Mila Jovovich doing spin kicks and wall jump kicks isn't pretty cool.
No,
She's
it
the
was-
coolest part of this.
It was executed so bad. It
Can
we
wasn't
talk
fun to
about-
watch at all.
These are the worst zombies I've ever seen. Mila Jovovich
Yeah.
punches like 3 zombies.
I know,
Like, in
exactly.
the mouth.
It's awesome.
My favorite is when there's a jump scare and like she sees the zombie and immediately just fucking scissor kicks it.
Exactly. What's the problem there?
The problem is it tries to build tension, but it just can't. Like
I
it's
guess-
like we're supposed
guess-
to be scared of these zombies, but we just see her flipping around kicking them.
You're telling me
it's
you
so
didn't-
weird.
I guess that's the problem I had with this movie is I didn't care about anything and like I felt nothing watching the whole. I didn't think it, 'cause
You're
I
telling
also-
me
I
that
didn't think it was so bad that it was like enjoyable. I just thought it was just like a really bad, poorly executed movie.
You're
and I
telling
just
me
sat there
that
like
hallway.
this is stupid.
You're telling me that hallway laser scene wasn't good
No,
though.
okay, that was like my favorite scene in the movie, and I was like,
I was
oh, this
dying laughing.
this is a good idea. Is like a computer fighting this group of people, and then it just became a zombie movie, and I was like, oh, there's so many ideas in this movie.
The first act is
Um,
the first act is a real snooze fest, though.
What the
This whole
fuck was
movie's
that
a
all
snooze
about?
fest.
It sets up nothing.
I had some. I thought it picks
This
up a
whole
little
movie is
bit.
a snooze fest.
Okay.
Also,
Well, you
it
don't like
lacks
fun.
so much in what I think it should have. Gore. Like, there's no gore.
Yeah, that's
There
another
is-
problem.
There is no gore in it.
That's another problem I have with it is that there's no gore, and it's
Like,
supposed to be
There's
over
that
the top.
elevator scene. And then, like, sets up, like, oh, there's going to be a decapitation. And then it just cuts
Yeah.
away. Like, what?
All that
Well,
stuff
the-
was just frustrating.
The laser
the
hallway
action
scene,
wasn't-
there was some gore in that.
They never showed his chopped up
Yes.
body.
They showed his face getting like.
I think
Yeah,
half the chopped up bodies disappeared when we saw them.
this
No.
is like the most dated
Wrong.
movie ever.
Oh, my God.
The editing in this movie, is-
Dude, the hologram girl.
the editing.
So have you seen the on cinema clip where they bring back his dead son
Mm-mm,
as like a CGI like
No.
hologram like thing?
no.
You should look that up because
No.
this is what when they show that girl like the hologram version, it reminded me of that. But it's trying to be serious. about it.
Oh,
It's really
God. The liquor looks so
funny. The liquor
fucking
looks
bad.
awful. It looks awful. You know what's
I was
crazy
like-
though? Instead of doing like CGI dogs, they put makeup on dogs, which is kind of
I
sick.
feel bad for those
They
dogs.
put makeup
I
on the
feel-
dogs.
I feel terrible for those dogs. They're
Those
like
dogs
covered in
One
slop.
scene, too.
Okay, you're telling
That
me
scene
that
should be cool. That scene should be cool. It was not cool.
you're
I
telling me
was-
You're
I
telling me the
felt no
twist
emotion
didn't get
in
you? The twist?
No.
Where it cut back to the
twist?
guy with the guy bumping into the guy at the beginning and being
As
like, this
soon
is
as I
actually the
saw that
bad
guy,
guy.
I was like, as soon as I saw him fall out, I was like, oh, that's the guy that stole the shit.
It's
I
so
didn't know they were
stupid.
setting
I
up a
didn't-
twist. I thought I was supposed to know.
I didn't care about any of like this is like some of the most forgettable, indistinguishable characters I've seen in an action movie, which is
But what about white guy?
insane. Exactly.
The
It's
two
like
girls are the best parts.
the two girls are basically other than
They had a. I thought they were about to get a
indistinguishable from each
romance
other.
going.
She said, "I could kiss you, bitch."
I know. I wrote in my notes. I was like, then do it, please.
Can we talk about Mila Jovovich in the beginning with the same face through everything?
She is
Nah,
such a bad actress.
She's cool. I like her.
You're just
I'm a
attracted
fan.
to her.
I mean, yeah, but she's
She's
also
a
like
pervert.
No.
she's a really great like an action.
No,
actor.
she's not. She was
She-
the
That was
No,
probably
no,
a
like,
stunt
in the-
double.
boring.
In the sequel, it's supposed to get like the sequels to this are supposed to get insane, and like that's
In-
kind of
Oh,
I wish I should have just picked one of those because their sequels are supposed to be really good.
Honestly, the hero should have been Rodriguez.
No, 'cause she's a cop.
She was way more of a fleshed out character. If you can use that,
There was
than Mila.
there's a funny moment in this when they like finish fighting off like a million zombies and then they have to like okay, can we talk about the one guy who could not hack for shit? There are like three separate moments where he like is struggling at the computer and like it's like 8 people killed. But the
Isn't
moment
he at like a keypad where he just has to enter numbers? He's like, I can't do it.
That's what I'm talking about. They like finish fighting like of a million zombies, and then he finally opens the door, and then it like reveals that there's like 1,000 more zombies behind the door. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh my god. And the fact that they're like, oh my god, they won't die. And they never aim for the head. Like they just keep shooting them in the body.
Yeah.
They're not dying. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's- also-
it's obvious that this if we're touching on this obviously took inspiration from like the later games, which were much more action oriented, but like
Yeah, what's the original game like? That's what I was wondering.
the first couple
weird
are very
thing is-
like the first couple are like really great at building tension and like are very much like not action packed. They're like
yeah.
gripping your seat, sort of like actual horror. But as it gets later on into the series, it kind of gets into like goofy action stuff. I think the fourth game balances both the best because it has the best gameplay and it also has the funniest story. Like if they
That's
took all the
what-
cutscenes from 4 and made a movie out of that, it would be awesome.
It's so weird because this completely reminded me of Resident Evil 6, which is like the worst one in the series. And that game hadn't even been made yet. It's like they saw this movie and how much money it made, and like, we got to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's
Oh my
definitely
God.
not true to the games. Besides, like at the
I
very end where
figured it
they're
wasn't.
at the very end where they're like, send him the Project Nemesis. It's like a throwaway line that references the game for no reason.
And
And then it's like
Project
it
Nemesis.
zooms out at the end. It's
Yeah,
like
what was the deal
send her
with all that?
send her to Raccoon City. Oh my God! From
Well,
the game.
yeah, and then there's the newspaper that says like Raccoon News on it. I think.
Like the game.
I don't know. I guess it could work as like a throw it on in the background, like popcorn flick with the bros. But like, I just had a really boring experience. I think
You
there's
didn't
like a lot. I think
You
there
don't
was
like
a
the music.
lot. Yeah, they'd play music for like 5 seconds and then cut to like.
This is one of the most early 2000s movies I've
Yeah,
ever seen in my
the-
life.
The editing in
It's
this
so
movie
much-
is so
Like
dated.
the effects, like whenever it shows like a UI, like some sort of computer UI, it's so bad.
Also,
But honestly,
it doesn't.
Go ahead.
Okay, you can go ahead.
I was
Oh,
gonna
fuck.
say that. What was I gonna? I forget what I was gonna say now. I kind of enjoyed how everyone was kind of hamming it up.
I didn't think that. I thought
acting-wise.
they were all
I
bad
did.
actors.
I thought they were hamming it up.
They were all just dead.
They're all like emotionless
disagree.
I
actors.
I couldn't
I didn't think
deframe
any
them
of
from the
them.
fucking
Yeah,
from the zombies.
I honestly like probably forgot most of this.
You're
movie.
telling me you weren't getting emotional when she dropped her wedding ring?
I forgot that
I
happened.
completely forgot that happened.
I watched this like 30 minutes ago, and I could give you at most like a base plot synopsis.
Wow.
I think
it completely fried my brain. It's like
the
the
main
definition
issue
of like a turn your brain off movie.
It's pretty exposition heavy too.
Oh my
It's
god,
bad.
yeah. I was trying to bring that
and
up.
they keep
It's
adding
bad.
plot devices. Like they add a random ticking clock at like halfway through the movie. They're like, the doors are gonna close in an hour.
Yeah.
I know. I kind of like just how chaotic it is.
Like, I love how
There's
the
so
SWAT
many
guys
ideas.
come in and they're like, Mila Jovovich, we gotta say exposition to you. Come with us.
That's what I'm saying. There's just so much shit going on in this movie that I just found it like funny and like enjoyable, I guess.
They used the classic like, you had amnesia. Let us explain to you what happened.
Through like color graded flashback.
Yeah,
like,
they used the
like
face-off
shaky cam.
The classic face-off opening scene.
I think one of my favorite things was they set up like his sister, like he's gonna get really emotional about it, and he sees his zombie sister, and then Mila Jovovich just fucking comes in and scissor kicks her.
Like roundhouse kicks her.
And he's like, "Oh man, what a shame." Anyways, more exposition time.
Anyways, let me stare dramatically in flashback.
I like the part where the robot is like, "You have to kill her if you want to leave this room. You have to," and then it's like
She swings the axe,
she swings
yeah.
it and she hits the computer screen. It's just like
I guess
corny.
that stuff was
It's so
kind of
corny to the
enjoyable.
point where it's enjoyable. Like the plot twists and all that. I found it enjoyable. Like,
But
enjoy
I
it.
just wish they went more over the top with it. Acting should
That's what
be
I'm saying.
crazier.
I think what I've
think they
read
should
is that
have
like
more
at-
gore, crazier creatures.
with
This
each
was like,
sequel, it gets more and more bonkers apparently. So I'm kind of
Mhm.
excited to dig into those.
This was like the zombie dogs were kind of cool. The rest of the zombies look terrible and are just base zombies. And then it's like the gore's lame. The acting is mostly forgettable. And like the story isn't interesting. It's just like random nonsense for most of it, honestly.
Exactly.
Well, it's not random. It just felt like they threw everything in. It's not like exciting or cool at all.
Before this movie, I watched Day of the Dead, and like the zombie effects in that are incredible, and they go all out, and that's what I want. Like, I want you to go all out, throw the craziest shit you have at the wall, and see what sticks. But it was just like, nah, it's just people in gray paint.
Yeah, the sets are so gray. And
the zombie rules never add up. There's like points where they like are hiding. Like
And then
the
there's
first
like
zombie
sneaking at the
sometimes
door.
they'll like have like weapons
Yeah.
at some points. It's very
The
it's
first
like
zombie
uneven
we
of the zombie.
see waits until they leave to come alive.
Also in the game, you don't get infected by bites. And in
really?
in the movie you do, which is weird. Also,
Well,
no
I
one
don't even know how long it takes to get infected.
also
No, because
not a
the one
single
girl was infected for like 50% of this movie.
Nick, I don't know
It
if
was
you were angered by
insane.
this too, but no one ever ate an herb. No one ever ate an herb.
What?
That's
don't
like
Yeah, you have to eat.
that's
you have
like
to eat herbs.
that's the main like consumable in the games is like a green herb, and there wasn't
no
a
one
single
ate it?
herb in this.
That does not.
I just kind of wish
okay.
someone like found a house plant and just started like chomping on it randomly.
I don't know.
Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't matter how much it sticks to the game as long as like it's fun. And I
I
didn't
had
think
a
it was very fun.
I had a funny joke about the hallway scene. I was going to say that they died because they failed the QuickTime event.
Yeah.
they didn't push
Even
the button.
then, that's going
They didn't push triangle in time.
How come every piece of zombie media is a person waking up in a hospital room and then walking out into a big city that's in ruins?
Well, that
Walking
know.
Dead.
Not every zombie movie.
Like
Not
a ton. Walking Dead, this,
well, when you get
28 days later.
it's just when you get uncreative.
I guess so. I don't know what originated it. I always thought 28
I think it was
days
the
later
Walking
did,
Dead
but this
comics.
was... No, the comics were after 28 days later.
I'm not sure about that, but I don't know, so I can't say anything really.
Don't talk about the movie unless you've read the comics.
They're good comics.
I read like the first book and they got kind of repetitive, so I stopped.
Yeah, this movie got repetitive too.
There's like a person who got shot in the head and they lived. You know, I was like, okay, I think I'm out.
That's what I like to see.
Every scene in this movie is they walk into a room, exposition, jump scare, shitty action scene, they leave. And then you just
I liked the solo Mila Jovovich action. I stand by that.
I don't even know if I could say I enjoyed it just because it was so...
Watching her do slow-mo roundhouse kicks, I was a fan.
The slow-mo made my fucking head hurt.
Oh,
yeah, this movie made my head hurt too. I had a headache going into this movie. And then I'm watching this thing.
You just have a headache anytime you watch like any movie.
I do. I have a headache all the time.
I think you guys should...
Sucks.
I think you guys should grow up.
Grow up and like Resident Evil.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say, really.
Me either.
Me neither.
Scores?
Guys? Who goes first?
I didn't write down scores for any of these movies except for, I think, one.
Okay. Well,
just come on the spot. On the spot, bitch.
I'm going to go with 3.
Wow. 2.
5.
What?
I almost gave it a 6.
I was going to say, I thought John would be higher than that.
5.
This was like a similar experience to like the James Bond movie. Except I like that a little more. It was too long. I think this one was too long too.
I would buy this on a Blu-ray.
I wouldn't.
I would buy the Resident Evil collection.
What are you, Jeremy Johns or whatever his name is?
I would buy the Resident Evil collection
on Blu-ray
right now.
My score is
I'm giving this a dog shit.
All right, well, you guys don't like fun, apparently, which is okay. Not everyone can be cool.
I didn't see a single nipple. 0 out of 10.
Yeah, there was a surprising lack. No, there's a nipple in this. You see one. There is a nipple, guaranteed, 100%.
I'm gonna have to scan over the footage.
You can see a side nipple.
For those watching the YouTube video, I'll flash the nipple on the screen for one frame.
It would be like a Fight Club when he puts the porn in the kids' movie.
I'm gonna say Resident Evil better than Fight Club. You heard it here first, and with that, we're moving on.
Fuck you. All right.
Next.
What movie is next? Oh.
Red Eye. Red Eye.
It's Red Eye. Carter, go.
Red Eye, directed by iconic horror director Wesley Craven.
If you combined him with the last director,
I watched this
Wes
movie.
Anderson.
I watched this movie like 3 weeks ago, and I'm doing this off the top of my head.
Why are you giving behind the scenes? Oh, look.
Fine.
Seems like we know who had the least preparation for this.
I watched Resident Evil the most recently, so hey, John, how long ago you'd watch Roar? That's what I thought.
That's not for the audience to know.
That's what I thought. Red Eye.
It's the movie. Jesus.
It's about a plane trip gone wrong, as they say.
Ruh-roh.
So
I know one of those.
We all
know we've all experienced a plane trip gone wrong.
I'm going with lead woman and bad guy as how I describe this. The lead woman is, I think, the manager of a hotel.
Rachel McAdams, correct?
She's the manager.
She's the manager, right?
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Or she's one of the higher ups.
Yes, I don't know why you're saying it.
I don't think she is the manager because
she says she's the manager.
The one girl was like filling in her position. It doesn't matter. She's a higher up in this hotel.
Her name's Rachel McAdams.
There's
she's beautiful.
There's a high up politician who's coming to visit her hotel while she's away.
One Donald Trump.
Donald Trump is visiting her hotel, and she gets on the plane, and she's with the guy whose name I forgot.
Cillian Murphy.
Fantastic actor, by the way.
One of the most punchable faces in cinema.
Yes, love him.
I disagree.
You like
his face? He has such a punchable face. I want to give him a nice...
love Cillian Murphy, but he does have a punchable face.
He's the Scarecrow.
Yes. Anyways, he's on the plane with her, and it starts off.
This is another movie where Cillian Murphy plays a character that tortures a Rachel.
That is true. It starts off friendly. He's guessing her drinks, and you know how it is. He's talking her up. They're getting down to business.
They're both attractive.
Yeah, what do young people do when they get together? They make some love, and then things go awry. Your father is being held at gunpoint.
Here's where I'll add the slide whistle sound effect.
And if you don't put this high up politician in a specific room in your hotel where we can blow him up with a rocket launcher.
He didn't say that.
And I will kill your dad.
He didn't say that.
And she's like, I can't let this politician die. He's a family man. He's a politician and he's a he can't die.
If it were me, I'd be like, I don't care who the politician is.
You can kill my...
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If you were threatening to kill my goldfish, I'd be like, okay, I'll put him in the room.
I'd be on the phone before you even said you had my dad hostage.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, I'll do it for you. But anyways, what ensues is basically her trying to save the politician without having her dad be murdered. And it ends in a climax of her killing Cillian Murphy in her own home.
Dude, it's killing her.
Dude, with her father's help.
This woman, she owns a secret agent guy. Just like she fucking owns him.
She drives a car into her own home, and they save the politician just in the nick of time.
And it turns out he was a Republican.
They roast some old bitch couple who are wine, and that's how the movie.
Oh yeah, and then it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of Red Eye?
Very good movie. Very good movie.
I actually liked it.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I think it was really good.
This one, actually, I'm glad I'm
not even. I'm not saying it like I didn't like it ironically either. I think it's actually.
No,
good.
me neither. I
think it's actually good. Like
I think I gave it a good rating too.
It's so fast paced and like so entertaining.
It's like an hour 20 minutes.
Builds tension nonstop.
Cillian Murphy and Rachel McAdams are great.
I like movies where people are in like a tricky situation and they have to like figure out clever ways to get out of that situation.
I think there's some really good like allegorical stuff here with like relationship abuse.
Yeah.
If you want to dig into deeper levels,
yeah,
I think there's a lot of really
like the rape scene.
A lot of really good stuff going on with like just domestic abuse, and then like I think Wes Craven is good at like offering like catharsis to that. Like I think like between her like stabbing him in the throat and like literally silencing him and then like beating the shit out of him in the final like couple scenes is very like cathartic in that sense, I think. Especially after watching her getting like sort of dominated this whole time.
I guess before we go into the positives, I do have some problems with I wish the stakes were a little higher.
What?
I don't know, I didn't care enough about like this politician and his family to be like, oh no, they're gonna kill him.
Well, you know was just, I would say that was just like a pushing force for like her character personally. I think it's more personal, like she wants to
I didn't really understand why.
I think she has I think she has morals, has a set of morals.
Yeah, but I think if it was someone she cared about more, or like they explained why we should care about this family more, I'd be more invested.
Well, it's a small child. There's children
gonna die. Yeah, that's when she really like.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wish I cared about them.
I guess Carter doesn't have a heart. He doesn't care if kids die.
And
I was like, "Fuck those kids! I'll kill them."
The only other thing, well, I thought.
Listen, I don't care if they were sending an orphanage up to that room. I don't give a shit. Do it.
But
what do you want? I'm gonna blow up the White House.
The one other thing,
I'm gonna blow up every single orphanage in the United States.
The one other thing I would say is I thought the third act was a little anticlimactic.
Anticlimactic?
A little bit.
You're telling me when
know.
they shoot a rocket launcher at the hotel room?
Well, that, but like, I don't
What?
know. Just the whole thing with her getting off the plane. I wish it would have wrapped up in the plane. That's just a personal preference, but I wish it would have wrapped up.
No, I think the chase after she stabs him, that was like maybe the most tense I was.
Yeah.
Really?
Just because I think the stabbing in the throat is such a guttural thing, and
yeah, I like that, but I like the claustrophobia of the plane, and there's no escaping. She's really got to think outside the box, and then it just turned into like a normal chase scene. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
It went back to like being like a more normal like thriller action movie than like this claustrophobic thing.
They use a lot of
I really liked.
They use a lot of the classic like dramatic like timpani beats throughout this. Like at every point in which there's like a reveal or something, they do this same like timpani beat, which I think is funny.
Yeah, I really liked all the like setup payoff stuff with like there's a bunch of different characters and like the old people.
Yeah.
I like how he says. I like how his name is Jack Ripner.
That's funny.
Funny.
I don't think there's much interesting about like the presentation of this movie.
No,
at all. It's like pretty standard fare. That would be another criticism I have of it. Overall,
like,
it was a good time. Yeah, it's like
solid movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything super great, and like I think there's been a lot of similar movies that might have done it better, but like just like the claustrophobic. It
wasn't
like
when
movie, Escape Room. No, not Escape Room. What's it called?
Fincher.
Panic Room. I think it is.
The Fincher.
Yeah, that movie's fantastic.
I haven't seen yet.
That's probably one of my favorite movies in this genre. And even like Funny Games might count.
This wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting more of like a, because I had seen this regarded as like a very like a post 9/11 sort of movie, and I didn't really pick up any of that in this.
Me neither.
Like I was expecting
any movie about planes.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I was totally expecting like it to be like a hijack scenario, and it wasn't that, which I was refreshing.
Looking at like the poster and stuff, I thought this was a supernatural flick. And I was actually relieved that it wasn't.
I
kind of knew the plot going in, so
it's very human. And I think it's very like, it's very much something like a lot of people like have experienced, like in a third person way, like seeing like a couple that like seem there's something off about them, like the way like maybe the male treats the woman, like I think it handles that well. That, like,
I agree.
In a metaphorical sense. I just thought it was really solid all around.
Enjoyable watch.
Super enjoyable.
Like an hour 20.
Great length. Ends.
It's like
perfect ending.
With satisfying ending, yeah.
Just a nice little roast and then walk
I really
away.
liked that one girl who was the receptionist. Who was like
I think the performances are good.
They're a little cheesy, but that works with it.
I think one of my favorite things is the setup to this movie, how it kind of sets it up a kind of like romantic comedy. Like, oh, they're getting along and they're meeting. And then it just turns like real fast.
That worked really well to me, to the point where I stopped thinking Cillian Murphy was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah,
I didn't. As soon as he said his name was Jack Ripner.
Well, yeah.
I was like,
well, when that came up, I was like, oh yeah.
I also thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. Like the first time she tried to like pull something, he just like for some reason decided to just straight up headbutt her in front of everybody.
Noticed.
And I was like, it would be funny if every time she tried something, he headbutted her.
The most unreliable way of knocking someone out.
It's so funny.
She has narcolepsy.
But yeah, I think the airplane setting is great for accentuating like stress and anxiety, claustrophobia, and like the way they constantly have sort of interruptions. Really like it offers this pause.
And like the whole like little girl subplot was really good, and the woman with the Dr. Phil book.
And I still think like the pen straight to the trachea, like it's such like a guttural thing. Like it stuck with me. I think his voice after was a little goofy.
Yeah,
but not a big Not a big deal.
I needed more blood squirting.
With the third act, I just had fun seeing him get his shit stomped by this
it was a good like switch up.
That was entertaining, but it just crossed over into like pretty generic thriller territory.
I guess I wish the dad didn't have to be like
the killer at the
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
I wish it would have just been. I wish it could have been her being.
Didn't really fit with the theme.
I wish she. Yeah, I was gonna say. I wish she delivered the final blow. I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And it reminded me how much of a nightmare airports are. I don't know how often you guys have flown.
I've flown like once or twice in my life, and
I've flown multiple times, like alone with August, and airplanes are just, and like thinking of getting on one like a crowded place, like especially now with everything, it just sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
A Nightmare on Elm Street. Speaking of Craven.
Craven.
No, he's a good director. I would say this is like barely a horror movie, though.
How about the line?
It's definitely more of a suspense thriller.
How did you guys feel about the line? There are no guests who are assholes, only guests with special needs.
That's a pretty funny play on words.
It reminded me of working at Service and how much I hate it.
Oh yeah, customer service is a nightmare. Also, I didn't realize this was a DreamWorks. This was a DreamWorks flick.
Yeah, that was odd.
DreamWorks presents Red Eye.
DreamWorks has made like mature movies. Like I know
it's just funny to. It's funny that was the opening to a Wes Craven movie.
Like, hey kids, let's go see the new. Let's see the new DreamWorks.
And then it instantly gets into.
You better shut the fuck up, bitch.
Good movie.
It was a good movie.
Solid, really solid movie.
Fucking murder your dad.
Okay, kids, let's get out of the theater. Okay.
Killian, that's not the line.
Killian, stick to the script, please.
I think it's Chillian. No one, I think he really, Killianed this role.
He did.
Killian, stick to the script.
All right, scores.
Bend your dado.
Scores. Who goes first?
John said his score.
What about the audio listeners? You
7.
fucking
7. I was gonna say it. I know we should just do visual scores.
You
should hold it up in your
sign
whiteboard.
Language.
On your whiteboard.
Your propaganda.
You can barely see it.
Centrist board.
Like, I don't know if you can actually see it.
What are your guys' scores?
Who are you guys voting for? 7. I dropped a 6.
6?
You really dropped the ball. That's what you dropped.
Sorry, bro.
Too bad ratings. Carter's batting 0 for 2 today in my book.
All right.
Come on, grow up.
Is it my turn?
Did I do that?
We have a treat for this last movie.
I
picked Roar.
Roar.
Someone sing the Katy Perry song.
I was about to, and then I had to stop myself.
We're gonna get copyrights struck.
Roar is technically directed by Noel, but I would say it's more directed by the Lions because they take the show.
I would say so too. I think they
took control.
They took creative control over this project.
Roar is about a woman and her family.
They were in the credits. They got credited.
They had like its own message that said it's only fair to credit.
That was fun. That was sweet.
A
word to describe this movie.
The technical story to this movie is a woman. They come visit a scientist.
What's the story to this movie?
The story, the plot.
The real story, however, is that Noel Marshall is a fucking lunatic.
He's an insane
who owns like 1 million lions apparently. He almost got so many people murdered. Oh my god, this movie is insane.
Dude,
Yeah,
what
did you
movie.
think?
This movie is bonkers. Holy
This
shit.
is like
It's
one of my
so
favorite
great.
things we've ever watched.
Oh my god, it
fucking
was
loved it.
awesome.
It is
This
loved
is
it so
the
this may be the
hardest I've laughed
greatest.
at any movie.
This may be the greatest failure in cinema history.
Is it a failure?
It is. It totally is a failure. Did you?
Yeah.
I watched the making of, and apparently, like, most of the crew quit and left.
Yeah.
There was a flood that destroyed most of the set. It is the greatest failure ever made.
Okay, and the fact that the message of the movie is like tigers
It's
are
like,
friendly and you should pet
lions
them.
are so
even though
friendly.
Okay,
There's-
I don't know
And then
about
the
you
edit-
guys,
There's
but
90 There's
after
90
everything-
minutes of tigers mauling people and attacking people and attacking each other, and it's like that's directly goes against what the message of the movie is supposed to.
let me say something. This movie is like the ultimate. This and like Grizzly Man, of course, but the ultimate example of like mankind's total ignorance to the power of nature.
Yeah.
But what's crazy about
Like-
this is I still came out of this like, damn, I would totally like cuddle up next to a lion if I could.
They do look very fluffy, I'll be honest.
I would
No,
totally
Whenever they was
after
sleeping
the ending.
it looked awesome.
After the ending, I was like, yep, you know what? That would make it all worth it for me to be able to snuggle up to 20 lions.
But then I think back to the scene where they all break into the house.
I
and,
forgot
like,
about that. I don't even care about that.
I think back to the scenes of like the African man being in like complete fear for the entire movie.
Everyone.
There's no acting in this movie. Everyone's just like
Everyone's
saying their lines.
all
genuinely
real.
afraid.
Which just makes
So anyways,
which
John,
makes
what the
when
fuck?
There
which
was a
makes when they act, it makes when they act even funnier because they're all awful actors.
Yes.
They're all awful. It's so funny.
the thing
This
that
is
was
the
crazy to
best
me.
acting test. Like,
Yeah, I
You
want
think
to
you're an
see
actor?
Leo.
try acting in this.
Oh, the Revenant's so brave. Yeah, Leo, go into a house filled with 50 tigers, and let's see if you can pull off a good performance there.
And I'll argue that this is a horror movie. There's constant tension where you just see a lion creeping up
oh,
behind
Literal
someone.
lion like
Literal
chasing.
lion.
There's a lion like literally destroying the set, chasing after these people.
Yo,
It's
And the elephants?
insane.
Oh my god, the
Elephants.
elephants!
They bring in
Scary
elephants
thing.
like it's
They're scarier
insanity.
than the tigers.
Yeah, elephants are totally scarier than tigers. Elephants.
There'd be scenes where I'm like, oh, okay, they faked the scene or they doctored the scene, and then I'd see like the people actually like in the scene, and I'd be like,
Yo,
this
the
is
scene
real.
with like the cupboard where the lion's trying to get in the cupboard.
Yeah,
the
I
person
thought
was
they faked
definitely
that.
the person was
But there
definitely
was a
like in
person
there,
in it.
which is
Because you can
insane.
see when they
'Cause
fall.
Because they so easily could have faked that, and they
Yeah.
didn't. For some reason, they were like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna actually do this. And
But
just like the
Tigers are
pure
isn't considered
seeing-
a documentary and is considered like a narrative film is so insane.
seeing the pure terror on like one of the actors' faces when they like round a corner and then
his daughter-
literally like 10 lionesses are chasing after them.
There's a scene where the African man walks out of the house and then you just see these lions come and he just starts booking it. So
The scene with
funny.
where they're all in the boats in the beginning and they're all getting like capsized.
The lion
It's
sinks the
just-
boat.
Oh my god, I love
I
how the
was-
lions completely ruined the script.
Yes.
Like,
They
they'll
ruined
be like,
everything.
We're gonna
Well,
get
they
on the
do-
boat and
They do help.
the fucking tigers jump on the boat and it sinks.
They do help in some scenes when the daughter's crying, she's legitimately crying.
Yes.
Because there's tigers. There's a tiger just eating her, just biting her, as she
Promotional
lays on the
material
floor
for this
crying.
is insane.
Can we talk about the villain, Togar?
Oh my god, he's terrified.
Yeah.
Like,
the
blood covered
blood
line,
all
like-
over him.
What the fuck was the idea behind that? No,
It
lions
was like
are
a
friendly.
real life. It was a real life incarnation of Scar.
Well,
Oh my god, yeah, there's like a Mufasa Scar fight in this movie.
the lion hunters, and then they just used like footage I'm sure they took by accident of like lions falling down and
Of them
saying
like dead, and then like you can clearly
Dead.
see them. You can clearly
Like-
see them like moving, and like their eyes are.
Yeah.
open.
and they had the little title screen at the beginning that said the lions may look injured but they're not actually injured.
The
I'm not
promotional
worried about the
material.
line.
The
The
promotional
people are
material.
fucking-
It's one of the greatest promotional lines I've ever seen. No animals were harmed in the making of this film, but 70 of the cast and crew were.
Yeah,
It's such a
it's like-
great line.
It's not what they intended at all, but then they realized what they had.
It's
and
one of
they
the greatest.
sold it on that.
It's one of the greatest marketing schemes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's
And
brilliant.
somehow, like, you'd think it'd get repetitive and like tiresome. Somehow they managed to keep the same energy
Oh
for
no!
90
Like,
minutes
the
of
entire
just
thing.
people being mauled or chased down
Because it taps
by
into like
tigers.
this pure primal desire to view this like this is like the modern like gladiator dorm
Yeah.
what we're watching. It's just like this pure desire to see like
People
pure
get
adrenaline
mauled.
pumping through people. And like
Yeah, and just seeing people's like fight or flight instincts kicking like in real time.
in like
I-
just in like the and I also think this movie does a good job at like showing like how like truly beautiful these animals are.
Oh yeah.
Because their
Yeah,
lions
they're
are just
gorgeous.
absolutely gorgeous and
Other
they're
like
so
landscape
majestic.
shots were like really like beautiful and like made me appreciate Africa. And then it'd be like it was very cathartic to see like look at like raw nature just fuck up mankind.
Right.
Yeah.
Like 90 minutes, you get to
Karma.
see what people deserve. And
My
there is an
favorite
aspect of
scene-
like you mess with nature, like this is what you get. And like seeing people like with like cuts all over them and like people just being
I also think like the guy has a genuine love for the animals. You know what I mean?
he does,
He
and it's
does.
kind of endearing, but at the same time it's like he is insane and he's probably doing damage to these animals by like keeping them in one
Yeah,
house.
opening a door and seeing 40 lions in one room is not how lions are supposed to live.
Yeah, and like you can see like stuff fall on the lions and like objects falling on the lions just when they're destroying. Like there's a scene where like an entire closet falls on a lion. And I'm like okay, I don't know. I don't feel too bad for this guy when he's getting his wound bitten by a lion he was pet.
But then you have the ending and it's just happy-go-lucky.
They're all
The
sleeping
song is
together.
carrying a lion like this with like its legs dangling beneath him.
There is 100% an alternate reality where they had to make a Grizzly Man-like documentary about this movie because someone died on set.
Yes, and there's a scene right at the end when it's supposed to be like, oh, tigers are actually really nice and friendly if you just pet them. There's a scene where one of the people jump in the water and then it angers the tiger that was in the water and it starts to attack them and then it like hard cuts to like them at a different scene and it's so funny.
Also,
It's-
there are alligators at one point in this as well, right?
I
Or
think-
am I-
Them.
Or am I
don't think so.
dreaming that up?
Oh, I forgot about the tiger. He puts the tigers in the car and like tells
And drives around
Oh my
with the
God,
tiger.
yeah.
tells
The
his
guy
buddy.
tries to get in the trunk because
Yeah.
he feels so uncomfortable. He's
Yeah,
like, "What are you
and then-
doing? Just get in the front seat."
His buddy's like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah, because the guy's head is directly in like mouth,
Like in the-
it's like
yeah.
in mouth range.
Joel Marshall.
Noel Marshall.
When I knew I would love this is like 5 minutes in. He's explaining that like the tigers are nice and they're just playing, and then one just straight up headbutts him, and he falls back, hits his head on the ground.
It's just a
And then
showcase of the pure
immediately-
power of nature, really.
Oh yeah,
And like how
And this-
it just shows how insignificant we are.
yeah.
in
He
the face of
runs
this.
into a tiger fight multiple times.
Oh my
Yeah, that
God,
stuff was like
yeah.
really stressed me
that
out
stuff-
because like
Was insane, and then
If
you
you
can see
look
him.
at his hand, you can see he got cut bad, and you see
Yeah,
bleeding all over the place.
this is
He's
a
like,
movie
"These are beautiful animals."
I really want to get a Blu-ray of.
oh my god, I
because-
kill for
It's
one.
so hard
I-
to though.
No, it's not. They're like $20 on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't
Draft.
been able to find them.
I think Draft House like recently released it.
Oh
I think
shit!
that's
I
why.
gotta look again then.
It's just funny.
Because
It's funny because
can't
it
wait to
is.
see all the special features of people being injured and like
It's-
knowing the true story of
It's such a poor.
what was cut.
It's funny because it is such a poorly made movie. Like editing wise, musically, everything about it is so poorly made. Like, it's funny because it's a total failure.
I do wish they didn't cutting like the clearly staged scenes, but at the same time there was some charm to that. It's like they're trying to make it more exciting.
I think my favorite scenes are like the ones that are like being set up to be a stage scene, but then just a fucking tiger runs in and immediately it turns into chaos.
Oh yeah,
at the beginning,
like
when
there's
like supposed to be an intro. Yeah, when the first boat shows up and they're like, "Listen, we need you to get rid of these tigers," and then just a fucking tiger comes in and jumps on this guy, and it's like a 3-minute scene of this guy trying to get a tiger off him.
How about the scene where
good.
The many scenes of his buddy trying to get his jacket back from the tiger.
Oh my god!
I just get rid of the jacket. I just be like, oh, it's not my jacket anymore.
He's like, my jacket, no.
Just imagine
tugging it.
Just imagine seeing literally 10 full-grown lions sprinting full speed at you. Just imagine. This is really the greatest example of human stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Like human, the fact that we think we are this like all-powerful being and we really are not. Like,
Jackass wishes they could.
And I just think this calls to mind like the idea that like the violence they enact against us, even after seeing all this, will never even come close to like what we enact on them. Like I think this would make for a good double feature with something like the short Our Trip to Africa, which showcases a lot of like poaching and stuff like that. And I think
or the Lion King remake.
Yeah, I
was gonna say the Barry Jenkins Barry Jenkins took the Lion King sequel in a very odd direction.
Okay, I would argue this is as scary to little children as the original Lion King is.
This is a horror movie.
Fucking scarier.
You questioned me whether this is a horror movie, and this is scarier.
No, I'm saying the Lion King remake is pretty terrifying for children as well.
That's just one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Imagine throwing real people in the Lion King remake.
Yeah, I wish they would have thrown
Noel Marshall.
John Favreau.
There's one more
into Noel Marshall's.
Before we cut on this, there's one more funny scene I want to talk about, and it's a scene where they were clearly trying to do some sort of like romantic thing between the two, like the married couple, and then out of nowhere, just a giant fucking lion cuts in on it, and
right over the shoulder,
like ruins this romantic scene. It's just brilliant.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. Go.
All right, I love like the rom-com scene where like he pushes her in the water and the lion pushes her.
I know,
and
it gets
like immediately it jumps in the water after that. It just gets so dark.
I love that's what makes the ending so great because it gets into this goofy like sitcom rom-com thing, but there's still this sense of like, there's still dangerous creatures.
Well, yeah, in that
it's like a Modern Family type deal.
In that final montage, you hear him say, "Don't hit it! Don't hit it! You're supposed to hold it." And it's like, they kept that in? What is happening?
I think they realized what they had about halfway through.
Or they literally didn't have the footage of, enough footage of them just, cut. That's the best they had, was,
Honestly, I think that's it.
Those were the nicest moments they could film with the lions.
This rules.
Jeez. It's such a great movie.
Awesome.
I loved it.
Watch it.
One of the best, watching.
The most I've audibly reacted to a movie that I watched on my own, maybe ever. The amount of times I was just like, "This is absolutely insane," or just like yelling at the screen, unlike anything I've ever watched.
So
unreal.
For sure. It's so bizarre.
I'm so bummed that I wish we watched it together.
I do too. This would be a great movie to watch with a bunch of friends.
I can't wait to do it.
It's so misguided and perfect in all the wrong ways.
Yeah.
It's the greatest failure.
Even all the bad acting moments were really charming and endearing to me.
Here's the real issue though. How do we score this?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
I was between an 8 and a 9, and you know what? Just for its uniqueness and like viewing experience, I gotta go 9.
I'm gonna go with a 9 too. Yeah, I was thinking really high.
Why not? I mean, it's just
why not?
Why not?
It's unlike if honestly, regardless
Writing
of
down my
quality,
score.
if I watch something like that's unlike anything I've ever seen before, it's gonna get a.
Okay. Art is pain, and this is the Mona Lisa of pain.
Yes, the score is written. That means it's locked in.
It's locked in.
It's 9 out of 10.
So I think no discussion. Our favorites roar, obviously.
Obviously.
Favorites roar. What's going on next week? Or next week, I think we're gonna release these 2 episodes in tandem.
Yep.
Which is gonna be a nice special treat for you guys who've been so patient with us during these trying times.
Yeah, all of you have been so patient.
Also, gonna ignore that because no matter how little fans we have, we treat them the same.
Yeah, we treat them like family. We're like
as we're approaching the end of season 1, we're running out of letters.
Oh
we
my
have
god!
We have a special.
What are you talking? We got.
We're approaching
10 more episodes.
Well, we're doing 3 within like the next. We're doing 4 within the next 2 weeks, so it's rapidly approaching.
I take it back.
I just want to announce this, in advance, is that we're gonna do a special like end of season special, in which we give out awards based on the films we've watched. We'll be doing scores based on who has the best movie picks. We'll be doing top 10 lists, and just a fun show planned for the end of the season that I'm personally excited for.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, sure.
And we're actually going to have live tigers.
Yep, and we're getting the director of Roar in for an interview.
I might have just heard this, but did he die? Did he die from tigers?
I don't know, but I do know he was a exorcist, and that's where he got them.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I really want to watch all the special features for this movie.
I do too.
See what was really.
There's some good stuff on YouTube.
Like if you're really interested in this, I would say do research. It's so interesting to like read up on this too.
Guys, I want to.
It's like The Room. It's like
I gotta tell you something
that's so bizarre that it exists.
I've signed up to be on the cast of Roar 2. So
goodbye, John.
I don't think this movie
to you guys
could ever happen again.
No, it could not. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I guess like.
Don't say Tiger King.
If McCamey Manor can exist, why can't
McCamey Manor, but it's all tigers?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why can't a house full of tigers exist?
I think we got to make that happen.
I think we got to send
we have a business
to McCamey Manor for the podcast.
We'll make a Patreon tier to send. If we get enough people signed up, we'll send Nick through McCamey Manor. Honestly,
Carter,
for enough money, I'll do it.
No, thank you. You would do it
money,
for how
I
much?
would go.
Name your price.
It'd have to be upwards of tens of thousands of dollars.
Really? You do it for $10,000?
I'd want it to pay my tuition.
How much is your tuition?
I'm not gonna say my tuition.
Say rich boy.
It's not that much.
I'm kidding.
Rich. All right, is this episode done? Have we been announced?
Yeah, recording live from Harvard here. All right, K. Next week, K.
What's our next letter? K.
I picked Qui-Gon.
I picked King Kong.
What do you pick?
I picked Kill List.
I can't believe when they killed the list.
No spoilers. People haven't seen it yet.
All right.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.